Hi everyone, it's Michael here. I am in sunny Hangzhou. It's getting kind of colder now as we settle into the winter. And yes, I'm not in Shanghai. I'm going to do a video about that later on. Today, we're going to have a conversation about a few different game consoles that I have. One being the Nintendo Switch OLED model. So what we're going to do is I'll take you straight to my table as we have the conversation about this console and talk about the differences between the OLED and the common Switch. So we can go into that right now. So let's get to it. Okay, so now we're using a little makeshift table in order to do this, so forgive me. My computer desk is on its way as I'm kind of bare bones in this apartment. Right, so this is the Animal Crossing Common Switch. This is the special edition one that was released and everyone was hiking up the price for. I managed to get it from Hong Kong for around about 2,100 renminbi, so that's basically about 210 quid. It's pretty good actually, very, very nice, and I've done all my gaming on this recently. As my Japanese one has gone in its box, I'm going to be sending this one and the Japanese one off to my kids. Now you see we've got the regular Joy-Cons here, the blue and green, has the Animal Crossing template on the back, and it is a common Switch. It's the, see if we can get up here, XKJ version of the console, which is the second variation of the Switch console. It's the second release, the one that was updated to stop people from soft modding the thing, which it really didn't stop them. So that came with all its boxes and bits and pieces. Let me get this out of the way. This was a nice little gift. Shout out to the store I got this from. They gave me 2 tempered glasses as well for the Pro, for the OLED Switch. So yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to call this one the Pro, and we'll call this one the Common Switch, just to kind of keep everything separate in a sense. So let's open this up, because this is going to be an unboxing. This version is the HKG version. It says here, HKG. Now the difference between the Hong Kong Switches and the mainland China Switches is the mainland China ones are only used in China. They are distributed by Tencent, and you can only use it with Chinese players who have that same console, okay? The Hong Kong ones are literally the same as these. They are common Switches. Now the difference between this one and this one, of course, we're going to look at, because aesthetically they are different consoles. So we'll look at the screens and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. So let's open them up and go from there. Ooh. Oh, I'm actually very, very impressed with the packaging, because the packaging is a lot more, it's a lot less thicker than this, which is good. Right, so we come with the 2 Switch controllers. These ones are white. There is no particular difference between these ones and the Switch ones. I'm wondering if they've actually resolved the drift problem. I don't think they have. It kind of looks at pretty much the same as this. If you look at it, they are the same as the other controllers. They'll fit nicely onto this screen. Now look at the screen as well. Doesn't seem too much of a difference aesthetically, like looking from the outside in. I've been told as well that these screens, the OLEDs, actually have their own kind of coating on them. So you can, and oh, you smell that? That smell. This is the new, that new thing smell. Well, the one thing they have managed to do is, look, the holder is a lot better. That design is a lot more functional than this. Because that can break easily, the spring can fall off. The stand, aesthetically, it's a lot more pleasing. The stand is a lot better. And I've just realized as well, I've got to transfer my micro SSD. Oh, joys. So yeah, oh, I got my fingerprints all over that. There's no game inside, of course. It gets booted up for the first time. The screen, you can tell, is a lot bigger. It's a lot thicker. and it's a lot nicer. Like if you're looking from an outsider's perspective, an outside in, it looks a lot better. So let's get the controllers out and pop them on the sides. I really want to keep my Animal Crossing controllers, but I really can't because it's part of the aesthetic and I promised my daughter. So there you go, it clicks on first side, click on the second side. I really wish they'd bring back the coloring. There you go, okay, you can see it's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger. So yeah, there you go. The first difference between this and the mainland China version is, again, you can select your language. With the Chinese one, you can't. I am Europe, because they still consider the UK part of Europe, even though the UK doesn't. But we're not going to go into that because everyone knows my opinion on that, so we'll leave that alone. So it's asking me for what Wi-Fi I'm going to use. I'm going to use Peach 5G. Now I need to take this out of the way so you guys don't know my Wi-Fi password. It's just for updating. And then what we will do is we will transfer my data from my previous switch to this one. Okay, done. Should connect to the network in seconds because okay, what is my video game characters that I like? And Luigi is number one. So my dog Luigi is also the router. There we go. Right, so it's connected to Luigi. And London, Lisbon, that's what we want. Connect to TV, we'll do that later because we're going to talk about that in a second. Detach the Joy-Cons, so let's do that. Okay, next. How to charge Joy-Cons, yada yada yada. Okay. There we go. Just a port from another console. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to import my user data from this console to have a look how easy and functional it is. So this one already has Wi-Fi on it. So yes. Do you plan continuing to use the original console in addition to this one? No. And next, because I'm gonna have to delete everything off this in order to hand it to my daughter, because to be honest. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to go to system transfer, I think it is. Right. Serial numbers, formatting options. Oh, we're not gonna format yet. And I also gotta get rid of my, I've gotta switch my Animal Crossing stuff over. Screen lock, I think it's user, let's try user. Transfer your user, there we go. Next. Close Breath of the Wild for now, because I'm in the middle of playing Breath of the Wild. Okay, so we started the transfer between consoles. I can see that the screen for the OLED is a lot more, like it takes up a lot more of the screen, where in comparison to the normal common Switch, it doesn't. Like you can see there's less of the screen used, whereas in the OLED model, there's a lot more screen being used. Right, it's transferring the data over, so let's wait for that to happen. And then we can continue, because I'll go over the specs, everything that we're looking at. So communication error, I think we're gonna have to do it via the docks, because it's, the problem being at the moment is because I'm in China, via the LAN, I'm gonna have to connect them both to the television in order to get it running properly. Which is annoying. So we'll forget about transferring the user for now, because I'll have to do that in a little bit myself, because it's going to be a process. let's skip this step. My cat is being an asshole right now, so he's having a mad... Jasper! He's having a mad 5 minutes. Well, he's not necessarily my cat, he's my friend's cat, but he's a part of my family. Alright, next. Okay. Next. Let's just create a new user for now. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Because we're going to get rid of this one. Okay. Later. Skip. Alright. Next. Skip. So press the home button and we've completely set up the console. Again, I'm so sorry. He's just having a mad 5 minutes. I can't really do anything about it. He's just running around like a complete insane person. Screen's pretty much the same. Interface is the same. The way that the console functions is the same, right? You can actually transfer and switch everything over. What I'm going to do is see if this switch actually fits in the Animal Crossing caddy. And then we can talk about the caddies and exactly what works. Okay, this is the Animal Crossing Switch caddy, as you can see. So I'm going to put this in here and see if it fits. And voila! Oh, sorry. Voila! It does fit. Let's see if it functions on the television and if everything works the way that it should do. You must forgive me. This is Zelda, the kitty cat, Princess Zelda. We need to. This is a Chinese TV, so they come with adverts. You can skip them because it's connected to the internet. I get to watch stuff on there. But we can talk about that later on. If you want to see me do a review on the TV, I can do that later. Okay, so HDMI 1, that's where the switch is located. Yep, boom, it works. So if you really didn't want to use your caddy outside the box, you can use the caddy that came with your previous Switch. I don't know if that causes any implications or any problems, but right now it looks totally fine. Okay, we're going to go down the rabbit hole of unboxing. This is a standard HK adapter. I don't know why they put this in here because it's literally, oh, it's a Chinese adapter. Chinese plugs have either 2-pin or 3-pin plugs. Their 3-pin plugs look like this. It's really shitty, to be honest. And it's given me a bulk standard UK adapter. I'm going to send this adapter to my daughter because I'm going to use the Chinese adapter that came with my my other Switch. Got the HDMI as always. So we got that, so we can move that over there. It comes with the standard Switch controller stand thing. I don't understand why they don't have these with chargers, why you have to pay for the extra privilege to charge your controllers on this bloody thing, but still. So let's go into that. Now we're gonna pull out the big stuff and look at the caddy. Now look at this. Right, this is pretty. It's a nicer stand. It smells good. I like the smell of these stands. I like the way that the wires go through here. Oh, so that comes off in its entirety. I like the way that the plastic is presented. Now, there's a slight difference in comparison to the older dock. As you can see, you have the HDMI, you have the USB-C, and instead of a standard USB, you have a Ethernet adapter. So this will be connecting to the internet. You have the 2 USB ports on the side, so I can use those. It's completely and utterly fine, and I can get that all sorted out. Oh, and there's something on the side here. No, that's for the caddy. So pretty much it, in comparison to the older one, despite the fact I like the design on these, like I think that's beautiful. Tom Nook and his kids. You have the 2 USBs on the side. You have the AC adapter, the USB, and the HDMI out. That all works on there. It's a very, very pretty little caddy. It's a shame that I'm gonna have to give it up because my daughter wants it. And you know, to be fair, if you're a good dad, then you're gonna give your kids whatever they want. So this will be going to her. But if you look at the comparison, this one's a lot more sleeker. It's a little bit smaller because it has the edges are a bit smaller. It's a little bit nicer. It's got a nice little Nintendo Switch logo on there too. And the design aesthetic is a lot more pleasing as well. Now we're going to do a comparison to screen by screen and talk about the consoles themselves. And then we can round off and talk about the specs of each machine. Now, here are both screens. We have the OLED model in comparison to the common Switch model. Now, the Pro has a lot more screen in terms of wanting to play. You have a lot more filler there for the screens themselves. The common Switch literally just has a few little bits and pieces on there. It's a lot darker, but you know, both of them do the same job. This feels a lot more screen as well. It looks a lot nicer as well in terms of the backlit, in terms of the way that the image is perceived on this one in comparison to this one. In terms of the backing, we've talked about this. This is got that small little kickstand, while the kickstand on this one is a lot better. It follows kind of the templates of your touchscreen tablets. So side by side, they are completely different. And then we can go through the specs and talk about what the difference is between those two there as well. Last minute edit, I forgot to say, I tried the Switch Pro on this and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. So they'll need to come out with a new one of these in order to work with it. I like to use it for handheld because there's no drift. So the Joy-Cons I tend not to use, only sparingly in a sense. And as you can see, it's the corners are just an inch longer, so it doesn't fit. So yeah, if you have one of these and you want to use this, no dice. So let's look at the specs up front. This Switch comes with your HDMI cable, the two Switch controllers, the screen, the Animal Crossing caddy, a UK plug, and also an SD slot. This one is, in my opinion, the bells and whistles are the screen itself. So it comes with the caddy, the controllers, the Switch itself, and pretty much all the bells and whistles. They're both similar little systems in terms of like playtime. This one is a lot cheaper than this one, to be honest. This one, for $350, you're paying for a better screen, better resolution, and better specs for handheld. So if you're mostly a handheld player, you'd basically be buying the OLED version. If you're someone who likes to play on their TV, this one is a lot more prettier. But what this one does, this one makes up in terms of what this one has a shortfall for. But they are beautiful little consoles. I'm very, very happy with the Switch itself. I think that as a system, I'm part of the reason that I upgraded mostly was because I was waiting to start a new job, and I am completely and utterly depressed right now, and I'm dealing with my depression by shopping, which is not healthy, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm basically trying to get everything all sorted out on this console. It's a very pretty console. It's very glamorous. It's a nice little upgrade if you can afford it, you know, because I know everyone can't afford it. And this one is a very pretty product. And I like the official Hong Kong product here. It was made in Hong Kong. But yeah, they're both beautiful little Switches. They're very, very good at what they do. And as someone who is I've been a big fan of Nintendo since I was a little boy, to be honest. And I love these consoles. So yeah, let's end it there, do a little end slate, and then say our bye-byes. So that's pretty much it. As I said, I'm gonna have some time and put together the OLED switch and put it on my TV screen and start playing my games after I transfer the data. I've got to use a thing called the UU box in order to do that, but it'll be fine. In terms of, was it worth the money? Well, to be honest, and this is coming from someone who's been a Nintendo fan since I was a child, it's more of an aesthetic than anything else, right? You're paying for this because you're paying for a small upgrade. It's a screen upgrade. It's nothing else. In terms of the consoles themselves, it may have a little bit more in terms of like it's a 64 gig. I think the Animal Crossing one I have is also 64 gig, so I'm not really paying to upgrade the console itself. It's a little bit more cash. It's like £100 more than the Animal Crossing one, and again, I know a lot of people are selling these for like ridiculous amounts, so I do understand that, but this is the price that you're paying for this. You're literally just paying for a screen, and also an LAN adapter in the console instead of purchasing for an external LAN adapter that you had to plug right into the console itself. But yeah, it's a good little machine. I can't wait to put my hands on it because, again, as I said, it's something I can afford, so I can do this. But as a Nintendo fan, if you feel like, why do I have to upgrade? You really don't. It's pretty much, they are the same thing. You are paying for the right to upgrade. It's like paying for a PlayStation when having a PlayStation 4 and then looking to buy a PlayStation 4 Pro, right? The Pro is just a small upgrade. It's a little upgrade to the bells and whistles. I'm sure, I'm not a teardown channel, so I'm not going to tear down the console and look at the innards, but I'm sure the innards are a lot different as well, and the specs are a lot different because I haven't looked at the specs in its entirety. I've just looked at the face value of this machine, and if I'm weighing my options, and if I was a cheap asshole who really can't afford it and really just wants to play video games, I would go for the cheaper model. But that's me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're looking for any more in regards to talking about this machine, do you want me to go more into the Hong Kong editions of Nintendo consoles and what they may be, because they're just common switches. There's not really much else you can talk about. If you want me to talk about more about games and stuff like that, please leave comments. I want to hear a lot more. And again, for those people who buy Chinese switches, who are buying it from mainland China, you cannot play it anywhere else. You know, if you're looking for a common switch, Hong Kong or Japan. If you're in China and you're an expat and you're looking for a common switch, Hong Kong or Japan, stores do sell them. Or you can ask directly if someone has them. They do sell them, and you know, you can do your thing now. But yeah, this has been Michael Burhan saying bye bye for now, and I've got gameplay. Have you?